The real fun is just getting started. And if you thought the ride back in November was wild, buckle up. Remember when XRP finally broke out after nearly 7 long years? It was like watching a phoenix rise. And by January 16th, it smashed its way to a new all-time high. That was exhilarating, no doubt. But trust me, it's nothing compared to what's coming next. If history decides to repeat or at least rhyme, we're standing on the brink of something extraordinary. Day after day, more analysts are coming to the same conclusion. We're right there, on the edge, about to kick open the door to a massive upswing. Picture it, just a little knock, tap, 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 and then boom, XRP, along with the broader crypto market, takes off like never before. Or this isn't just another market cycle. This is the grand finale, the final push where chaos reigns and fortunes are made. It's the moment where all the waiting and patience pay off, where the opportunity for life-changing wealth becomes real. Are you ready for the ride of a lifetime? Let's go. Buckle up, folks, because we're about to dive into an exciting, fast-paced moment in the crypto world. It's short, it's thrilling, and it's where the real opportunities lie. But before I jump into what some top chart analysts are saying, let me get one thing straight. I'm not a financial advisor. Nope, not even close. So don't make any financial moves based on anything I say or write here. I'm just a crypto enthusiast who loves sharing insights and having fun with these topics. Think of this as entertainment, not financial gospel. Now, as I'm recording this, it's 3:29 a.m. Central Time. Yes, I'm burning the midnight oil. And it's Wednesday, June 11th, 2025. Let's talk numbers. XRP is sitting at $2.31. Bitcoin is holding steady at $19,583. 0 cents. Things have been mostly sideways over the last 24 hours, but trust me, that won't last long. I've been keeping a close eye on some of the most reputable analysts out there. You know, the ones with solid track records that speak for themselves. These aren't amateurs. They know their stuff. And here's the thing. Across the board, they're all saying the same thing. Momentum is building, and we're on the verge of taking off. Sure, they might debate the exact timing, but the consensus is clear. It's happening soon. Now, here's where it gets interesting. If this doesn't happen soon, it would break from historical norms. And you know what they say about those famous last words? This time is different. Spoiler alert, it rarely is. History tends to repeat itself, and all signs point to us gearing up for a major move. Kalo, a well-known chart analyst with 704,000 followers on X, dropped an exciting take. The fun stages of the bull market are finally about to start. He believes everything we've seen so far has just been the warm-up. The real action, the kind that feels like easy mode early on, is just around the corner. His advice, seize the moment now while you're still ahead of the curve. And honestly, I'm all in on that narrative. Why? Because history loves to repeat itself. Chart after chart is pointing to the same thing. This setup feels eerily similar to past cycles. When everything lines up, it's hard to ignore. For those who've been waiting on the sidelines, this could be the moment where investing feels almost unreal. The kind of moment where even the smallest moves can yield massive results. It's always the same story. The market surges, peaks, and then comes crashing down hard. But for a brief, wild moment, it feels like you can't lose no matter what you do. That's exactly what happened in 2017. Everything was skyrocketing, like throwing a dart at a board and hitting the bullseye every time. In that moment, everyone thinks they're a genius. Spoiler alert, they're not. It's not brilliance. It's just the market doing its thing. But people still feel invincible, bragging about their brilliant investment moves. Enjoy the ride while it lasts, but remember, it won't last long. When the fun hits its peak, we'll need to have some real talks about spotting the signs before the... And let me tell you, those signs, they're getting closer. Here's the latest take from chart analyst Khalil. Ethereum is stealing the spotlight again. He calls it the God candle and believes the $4,000 mark is on the horizon. Let's break it down. Just a few months ago, Ether was stuck around $1,400, struggling to gain momentum. Fast forward to today, and it's flirting with $2,800, nearly doubling in value. This kind of volatility has people panicking, shouting that it's the end whenever prices dip. But let's be real, short-term price drops don't define an asset's long-term potential. Sometimes price and real value drift far apart, and that's where the opportunity lies. From where I stand, nothing fundamentally shifted to suggest Ethereum is no longer viable in the market's eyes. Whether it stands the test of time, I'm not here to predict, but let's be real. The market has embraced it for nearly a decade. There hasn't been any earth-shattering development to change that. So when Ethereum's price dipped, it wasn't due to fundamentals. And when it's not about fundamentals, markets eventually bounce back. Fast forward, the price doubles. Surprise, surprise, exactly what I've been saying all along. It's the same story I kept hammering about XRP throughout 2024. Patterns repeat. Imagine this. Ethereum climbs back to $4,000, 0 cents, a milestone we know it's destined to hit again. Now, what if XRP matches Ethereum's market cap at that point? Did you know that would push XRP's value to $8 each? Yes, $8. That's all it would take. Pretty wild, right? And here's the thing. It's not even a stretch. It doesn't require Ethereum hitting a new all-time high. It just needs XRP to level up with Ethereum's market cap. And here's where it gets really interesting. There's historical precedent for this. Back in the 2017-2018 cycle, XRP surged to claim the number 2 spot, surpassing Ethereum in market cap. So who's to say it can't happen again? There's no rule against history repeating itself. It's not wishful thinking, it's math. The possibilities are exciting when you consider how easily XRP could reach these numbers. Sometimes the simplest scenarios can lead us to some of the most thrilling outcomes. Check out this Postman chart analyst crypto wizard comparison. On top, we've got Ethereum's current price chart, and on the bottom, a flashback to Bitcoin's last cycle covering 2018 to 2021. The key focus, what happened in 2020 leading into 2021. Now, for Ethereum, notice the similarities. The analyst highlights how today's Ethereum chart mirrors Bitcoin's legendary bull cycle from 2018 to 2020. He even wrote, lived this before. When they were calling for the end, I was warning of the future. The pattern is undeniable and the deviation has been confirmed. Back then, Bitcoin rallied from the depths of $3,000 to $4,000, all the way to $64,000. The question now, how high can Ethereum climb? The March 2020 Bitcoin dip during COVID was labeled as a deviation, and the analyst points out the same structural move happening with Ethereum. I've said it before, XRP dropped to around $1,400, but since then, it's doubled. And here's the kicker, it's not over yet. Picture this, an arrow pointing sky high, not stopping at its current level, but shooting toward $5,000. If XRP hits Ethereum's market cap at $5,000, each token would land at $10. That's not exactly a moonshot, is it? This is why some analysts predicting $20 to $30 XRP have my attention. Are they right? Who knows? I'll always admit that. But I get where they're coming from. And honestly, their case is hard to ignore. It's definitely within the realm of possibility. If enough money pours into the crypto market, sure, I could see it happening. But hey, I've never been one to make bold price predictions. I'm the first to admit I don't have a crystal ball. Now, if I were one of those chart wizards, maybe I'd dive into the data and start making calls, but that's just not my vibe. What I do have, though, are ideas about what seems plausible. And honestly, to me, it feels perfectly reasonable to think it could reach those heights. Time will tell, but for now, I'm sticking with what feels grounded and realistic. Check this out. Chart Analyst Galaxy just dropped a post to his 111,000 followers, and it's making waves. He's echoing the same bold claim Crypto Wizard made about Ethereum and Bitcoin. Seriously, look at this. Galaxy says Ethereum is mirroring Bitcoin's price action before its insane bull run from $10,000 to $60,000. Think about that for a second. If we're talking about those kinds of gains, are we really thinking Ethereum stops at $5,000 or $10,000? I mean, who knows? But this is why I get where people are coming from when they predict Ethereum soaring well past $10,000. And honestly, that's exciting. Here's the kicker. If the market catches fire, don't sleep on XRP. I wouldn't be shocked if it starts making a serious push for that number 2 spot. And if Ethereum hits those dizzying heights, don't be surprised if XRP gives it a real run for its money, maybe even overtaking it briefly when it comes to market cap. Livestream chart analyst Flash just dropped a post for his 81,000 followers, and it has got XRP enthusiasts buzzing. He shared a price chart with a bold statement, prepare for the next leg. In the short term, he's eyeing XRP climbing to $5.00, not as the peak, but as a major step forward. According to his chart, this journey could kick off in June, with XRP potentially hitting $5 early to mid-July. Just a quick glance at the chart hints at some exciting movement on the horizon. How many analysts have I showcased recently with this kind of bullish outlook? Plenty, and these aren't random voices shouting into the crypto void. These are seasoned analysts I've been following for ages, long enough to know their success rates. Most of them have consistently nailed their XRP predictions. They didn't just call for a breakout, they explained why, and they were spot on. It's shaping up to be an exhilarating cycle for XRP. It all started in 2024, just as many had predicted. And now the buzz is getting louder. Everyone's saying it. More and more people are convinced that this summer is when it happens. Even if the timing isn't 100% right, hey, predictions aren't perfect. The consensus is clear. XRP is primed for a massive parabolic rally, shooting up into double-digit territory at the very least. Pretty much every analyst I follow is calling for it. Literally all of them. And honestly, finding someone putting out bearish takes on XRP feels like searching for a needle in a haystack. I'm always ready to highlight counter arguments when I see them, but let's face it, they're rare. The charts just don't support a negative outlook. Even the FUDsters, those loud critics, seem to have gone quiet. Why? Because every time they doubted XRP, it proved them wrong. It's like they finally realized that bashing XRP is a surefire way to end up in Paris. The truth is, going against XRP just doesn't work long term. It rallies, it performs, and it makes the doubters look, well, foolish. Chart analyst Stephis Crypto is calling it XRP could be gearing up to go parabolic. He's fully convinced that we're on the brink of liftoff, eyeing a sharp rise starting in June, potentially hitting the $5 to $6 range by early July, based on his charts. Bold claim, definitely, but he's not alone. Many analysts share this bullish outlook, believing this summer could be a game changer for XRP. Of course, time will tell if these predictions hold up, but the buzz is growing louder by the day. And when you factor in Bitcoin's tendency to track global M2 liquidity trends, this timeline starts to make a lot of sense. Remember, the whole crypto market tends to move together. I've been saying this a lot lately, but hear me out. This isn't some wild theory. It's totally plausible. Look at the fourth year of each market cycle, and you'll notice something interesting. Bitcoin tends to take off during the summer. Every other year, nope, summers are flat, dull, and uneventful. But in the fourth year of the bull run, like clockwork, Bitcoin has surged in the past few cycles. If history's any guide, we might be gearing up for something big sooner rather than later. Here's an interesting take from chart analyst Pepa at Moon Sheila, originally posted on May 16th. And to give credit where it's due, Pepa called it way back. Let me set the scene. On November 12th, before XRP truly took off, Pepa spotted something big brewing. His words? Holy yes, bears are effed. XRP biweekly breaking out of a 2,500-day consolidation pattern, just like 2017. And guess what? He was absolutely right. Fast forward to May 16th, Pepa reposted that prediction with an exciting update. XRP printing a massive bullish flag, potential target $15 plus after a huge 2,500-day breakout. In the quoted tweet, he noted XRP has now been consolidating for 165 days. Stunning how those 44-day candles are printing, isn't it? Get ready for another massive breakout. Looks like another analyst is confident the next big move is just around the corner. Here a few weeks back, he wasn't claiming it would happen that exact day or even the next week. What he was saying is that the charts are telling a story. A big move is coming. It's like in 2024 when we didn't have an exact date for XRP's breakout, but the charts made it clear this was the moment. From a historical perspective, XRP's price had been so suppressed that all signs pointed to a shift. You could analyze a dozen factors and they'd all say the same thing. This is the time. Maybe it's this month, maybe next quarter, but we're in that window. So he reposted it, pure confidence on display. He threw it up on Tuesday with a bold message. You don't own enough XRP. TikTok, maybe that resonates with some people. For me, I think I've got enough XRP, honestly. Most people wouldn't admit that, but I will. To be fair, I probably bought more than what most would consider reasonable, but no regrets. None. Not one. XRP still makes up about half my crypto portfolio even now, and for good reason. It's been on a serious run. If I were to buy more crypto, though, I'd diversify. That's just where I'm at. My XRP stash is solid and I feel good about it. No regrets there. Yes, intentionally spelled like that. I get his joke though. He's basically saying you'll wish you had more when it skyrockets. And you know what? He might be right. Here's a scoop from Blockchain Backer's Tuesday morning update. In his latest video, he dives into Bitcoin hitting $110,000. With Ethereum and altcoins glowing green while Bitcoin dominance takes a hit. XRP and other altcoins, he says, are still waiting for that big breakout moment. He's sticking to his guns, predicting XRP could soar into double digits, crossing the $10 mark. As for Bitcoin, he's calling for a peak around $135,000. He might be right, time will tell, but he's confident there's a final parabolic move on the horizon. Listening to him, it sounds like he's still open to the idea of Bitcoin pulling back into the mid $90,000 range. If that happens, XRP hitting $2 be within reach. The way he's talking now feels different, like he's more optimistic than before, or maybe that's just how I'm interpreting it. I won't speak for him, but it sounds like he's leaning toward XRP holding steady for now, just a bit more sideways movement, but not for much longer. Then boom, a rocket to the upside without another dip. What we've seen so far might already be the pullback we've been waiting for. This could be it. Here's an update from chart analyst Crypto Insight UK. XRP is battling to stay above minor resistance and flip it into support. The key levels to watch: closes above $2.40 could signal the first signs of a trend reversal, but breaking $2.60 plus would confirm a major shift in direction. Liquidity remains a wild card. Some always gets left behind with positions hanging in the balance. Still, he's sounding a note of caution. With the market this deep, there's a chance XRP could slip closer to that $2 mark. He's not shy about his plans. If the opportunity arises, he's ready to load up on XRP, confident it's heading for double-digit gains. Aligning with Credible Crypto, he predicts this cycle could see XRP soaring to a peak between $20 to $30. The optimism is real. So just because he's highlighting potential dips for XRP doesn't mean he's keeping his eyes wide open for what's next. Chart analyst XForce Global has some exciting insights for XRP enthusiasts. On Tuesday, he shared an eye-catching XRP/USD chart and made a bold prediction. XRP hitting $3 to $4 is inevitable in the coming months, unless proven otherwise. According to him, is nothing bearish about the short, medium, or even macro time frame. In fact, he believes we could see XRP break through this range as early as this summer, entering price discovery mode. And no, he's not claiming this is the peak. It's just the beginning of what could be a thrilling run. It's always fascinating to hear different expert takes, and while opinions may vary, one thing is clear: there's a lot of chatter about some major price action on the horizon. It's interesting how similar the message is from analyst to analyst, isn't it? While I wouldn't say the majority of analysts I follow are predicting this for XRP this summer just yet, there are definitely enough of them to get my attention. If we reach a point where the vast majority are shouting the same thing, I'll take notice. Historically, when analysts I follow align almost perfectly, their predictions tend to materialize. If that happens, my confidence will skyrocket. I'll genuinely believe they're onto something. Right now, though, it's more of a coin toss. That said, there's undeniable historical precedent suggesting something big could happen this summer. Here's an interesting take from chart analyst Greg Crypto: XRP market cap to 1.5 trillion. But wait, let's clear something up. Market cap isn't about the actual cash pumped into the XRP. Nope, it's just a snapshot of value at a specific price point. To be clear, market cap money injected, that's a whole different metric called cash inflows, which tracks the actual funds entering XRP. Market cap, on the other hand, is simply the circulating supply multiplied by the current price. It's a calculation of what all circulating XRP is worth right now. In the crypto world, that's what we call market cap. But as Greg Crypto cleverly points out, and I'll dive into his comment in a moment, it doesn't take a massive influx of money to create a wild multiplier effect. I've said this before: when prices get bid up, the ripple effect is real. While it's tough to pin down exactly how big that multiplier is, one thing's for sure: it's significant. Greg Crypto explains it well. Many XRP community experts suggest that for every $1 injected, the market cap can skyrocket by 15 to 30 times during specific phases. Let me pause here. Could such a multiplier be reasonable during the market's hottest moments? Maybe, I can't say for sure, but I do know the concept he's highlighting is spot on. Whether it ends up slightly lower, right on target, or a bit higher, one thing is crystal clear: the market cap skyrockets compared to the actual cash inflows. No question about it. That's why I keep emphasizing it doesn't take a massive amount of money flowing in to make a big impact. This is how we start talking trillions. For years, skeptics have claimed XRP's market cap could never hit $1 trillion or more. But here's the truth: they're fundamentally misunderstanding the difference between cash inflows and market cap. That's the real issue. I caught on to this early back in 2017 or early 2018, and it became obvious to me. A lot of people out there simply have no idea what they're talking about. When I first got into crypto, I was completely new, brand new. But even then, I figured some things out quickly. It left me wondering, how could others who had been around longer not see what was so obvious? Greg Crypto totally nailed it, and that's where the excitement comes in. Crypto offers insane multiplier effects, and it's a global movement. The market never sleeps. Trading happens 24/7, 365 days a year across the world. Combine that with the scarcity of these digital assets, and you've got something truly extraordinary. So here's the deal. He points out that the macro formation is a W pattern, specifically pattern number 10. Let me pull up this chart full screen while I walk you through it. Since December 2024, we've been holding above the previous all-time high at Fib 1, which is a solid indicator of bullish accumulation. Now let's dive into the projections. The W formation's measured move using a non-logarithmic Fib 1.618 puts the market cap at $270 billion. That translates to XRP potentially hitting $4.50 considering the circulating supply of 58.81 billion XRP. But here's where it gets interesting. If we use a logarithmic move, the projected market cap jumps to 1.5 trillion, meaning XRP could skyrocket to around $25. Back in 2017, moving from Fib 1 to Fib 1.618 saw gains of roughly 242%. If we apply that to XRP's current market cap, we're looking at around $450 billion, a massive milestone, but just the beginning. Here's why I'm excited. This projection puts XRP at about $7.60. Now, if we push further and apply Fib 1.618 to the 2018 highs and 2020 lows, we're talking a market cap hitting $978 billion. That's nearly $1 trillion, folks. With an XRP price of $17, imagine that. Sign me up. In fact, make it 2. Let's go. XRP's market cap is shaping up with a bullish pennant on both the XRP/USD and XRP/BTC charts. Spot the pattern? With a projected market cap hitting 1.2 trillion, XRP could sort of $20. Using this angle, it puts the price at roughly $7.60. Wild, right? That's the magic of crypto. It's why we're all here. The concept is spot on, and this is the real deal. Right now, there's not much money in XRP, but it doesn't take much for it to double, triple, or even quadruple. Remember, back in 2018, XRP hit $3.35 at its peak. Less than 1% of the population had ever touched it. Fast forward to today, and way more people are holding XRP. Less than 1% of people hold XRP right now, and yet we've already seen it hit an all-time high of $3.40 this year. But guess what? This ride isn't over. If history has a habit of repeating itself, then we're just getting started. And that's why I wake up every day excited. One of these mornings, I know I'll check my phone, glance at the price, and see it taking off. And that's the moment you know it's happening. I've been through a few of those wild, unforgettable days before, and let me tell you, they're a thrill. That's what's ahead, folks. The fun part, I have no doubt about it. Just a friendly reminder, though, I'm not a financial advisor. Don't make any financial decisions based on my excitement. Seriously, that would be a terrible idea.